What if the cognitive symptoms of fibromyalgia and autism aren't two separate problems, but the same nervous system expressing itself in two different ways? And what if your doctor has been treating the pain in your body while completely missing what's happening in your brain? Welcome, I'm Dr. Michael Lenz. This is part two of our three-part series on the 31 traits that connect fibromyalgia and autism, traits that science is only now learning to map. In part one, we covered the 10 physical and sensory signs. Today, we go deeper into 11 cognitive and neurological signs that live not in your joints or your muscles, but in the architecture of your brain itself. Before we dive in, please remember this video is for educational purposes only. All signs, symptoms, and treatments should be discussed with your own personal physician. The cognitive overlap. Here is something medicine has been slow to say out loud. Fibromyalgia is not just a pain condition, and autism is not just a social condition. Both involve a central nervous system that is fundamentally wired to process the world differently, more intensely, more widely, more exhaustingly. The cognitive symptoms you are about to hear are not character flaws. They are not laziness. They are not anxiety pretending to be something else. They are measurable, documented physiological differences in how a sensitized nervous system handles information. It's not in your head, but it is in your brain, and that distinction matters more than you know. Sign number one, brain fog, the central nervous system noise problem. Fibrofog is one of the most common and most dismissed symptoms in this community. But here is what the research tells us. Brain fog in fibromyalgia is not general fatigue. Studies using functional MRI show altered default mode network connectivity, meaning your brain is spending enormous energy just maintaining baseline, leaving less available for focused thought. In autistic individuals, a similar phenomenon occurs, what researchers call cognitive overload from constant environmental processing. Same nervous system, same fog, different label. But here is what most conversations about fibrofog leave out entirely, and it matters enormously for this community. Research is increasingly showing that ADHD has its own distinct and powerful contribution to cognitive fog. And this is not a minor footnote. Studies estimate that between 50 and 70% of autistic individuals also have ADHD, what we now commonly call ADHD, which means for a significant portion of the people watching this video, the fog you experience every day is not coming from one source. It is coming from three simultaneous and compounding mechanisms happening in the same nervous system at the same time. So, what are those three mechanisms? In fibromyalgia, the fog is a bandwidth problem. Central sensitization consumes processing resources that your brain would otherwise use for cognition. Your nervous system is already running at maximum load, just managing the pain signal. There is simply nothing left for clear thinking. In autism, the fog is a filtering problem. The autistic nervous system processes environmental input more broadly and with less automatic filtering than a neurotypical brain. Every sensory detail, every conversational subtext, every potential social misread, it all gets processed. The cognitive cost of that constant, wide aperture processing leaves less available for focused, linear thought. In ADHD, the fog is a dopamine and norepinephrine difference. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's command center for executive function, working memory, and sustained attention, depends on dopamine and norepinephrine to regulate itself. In ADHD, that regulation is inconsistent, not absent, inconsistent, which is why the ADHD brain can achieve extraordinary focus on something genuinely stimulating and then feel completely impenetrable on a task that matters but doesn't generate enough neurochemical signal to activate. That inconsistency is not laziness, it is neurochemistry. Now put all three together: a fibromyalgia nervous system running on depleted bandwidth, an autistic processing system with no automatic filter, and an ADHD prefrontal cortex that cannot reliably activate on demand. That is not brain fog, that is a three-system convergence, and it explains why, for so many people in this community, the cognitive symptoms feel categorically worse than what fibromyalgia alone would predict. Here is the critical reframe. Your brain fog is not one problem with one cause. It is a multi-system phenomenon that requires a multi-system understanding. And the first step to managing it is stopping the search for a single explanation and starting to see the full picture your nervous system has been showing you all along. Sign number 2, word finding difficulty. You know the word, you've used it 1,000 times, but right now in this moment, it simply is not there. This is called anomia, and it is not a memory problem, it's a retrieval problem. Your brain's library is intact, the indexing system is overwhelmed. In fibromyalgia, this is linked to central sensitization, reducing processing bandwidth. In autism, it is connected to language processing differences in the left temporal lobe. And in ADHD, dopamine instability in the prefrontal cortex disrupts the rapid retrieval process that fluent speech depends on. When all three are present, as they frequently are in ADHD, the word finding gaps become a daily, invisible frustration that no one around you can see. Sign number 3, working memory failures. Working memory is your brain's mental whiteboard, the place where you hold information while you use it. In fibromyalgia, disrupted sleep architecture, particularly the alpha wave intrusion that interrupts stage 3 and stage 4 deep sleep, directly impairs working memory consolidation. In autism and ADHD, working memory differences are among the most well documented cognitive signatures. Research by Dr. Russell Barkley and others has established working memory deficits as central to the ADHD profile, not peripheral to it. If you forget what you walked into a room for, lose the thread of a conversation, or start a sentence and genuinely cannot remember how it was supposed to end, this is not distraction. This is your nervous system under load. Sign number 4, executive function overload. Executive function is the CEO of your brain. It plans, prioritizes, initiates, and switches between tasks. In fibromyalgia, chronic pain consumes executive resources. Research shows that sustained pain reduces prefrontal cortex activity, the very region that runs your executive system. In autism and ADHD, executive function differences are neurological, not motivational. The result? Getting started feels impossible. Switching tasks feels destabilizing. Finishing feels like a finish line that keeps moving, and everyone around you calls it procrastination. It is not. It is a prefrontal cortex under triple load from pain, from processing, and from neurochemical dysregulation, doing the best it can with what it has. We are only 4 signs in, and I want to pause for a moment because if you are watching this and nodding, I need you to hear something important. The fact that you can identify these patterns in yourself, that is not a weakness. That is self-awareness. That is the beginning of something different. Keep going. Sign number 5, processing speed differences. Think of processing speed as the clock rate of your nervous system's computer. In fibromyalgia, central sensitization creates what researchers describe as a noisy signal. Your brain receives more input than it can clearly process, slowing the rate at which it integrates information. In autism, processing speed differences are well established, not lower intelligence, but a different clock cycle. In ADHD, processing speed variability is one of the most commonly documented cognitive findings. Fast on high, interest tasks, significantly slower on low stimulation ones. The combination means that in conversations, in appointments, in high demand moments, you may feel perpetually one step behind. Not because you are slow, because your nervous system is running a more complex operating system than most people realize. Sign number 6, sensory cognitive overload. Here is something that rarely gets said clearly enough. In a sensitized nervous system, sensory input does not stay in the sensory system. It bleeds into the cognitive system. They reduce your capacity to think. Background noise does not just irritate your eyes, it consumes working memory. Crowds do not just feel overwhelming, they actively degrade your executive function. This is the sensory cognitive interface, and it is one of the most important overlapping features between fibromyalgia, autism, and ADHD that medicine consistently fails to address. When all 3 systems are engaged simultaneously, the cognitive cost is not additive. It is multiplicative. Sign number 7, time blindness. If you frequently lose track of time, underestimate how long tasks take, or find yourself shocked by how late it suddenly is, this is not a personal failing. Time blindness is a well-documented feature of ADHD, and autism, rooted in differences in how the brain's basal ganglia system tracks temporal intervals. Dr. Russell Barkley has described time blindness as one of the most functional impairing features of ADHD, not as a side effect, but as a core deficit. In fibromyalgia, chronic pain further disrupts time perception by monopolizing attentional resources. The practical consequence? Appointments missed, energy misjudged, recovery plans abandoned not from unwillingness, but from a genuine neurological inability to feel time passing accurately. Sign number 8: hypervigilance and cognitive fatigue. A nervous system calibrated to constant threat scanning never fully rests. In fibromyalgia, central sensitization keeps the alarm system running even when there is no alarm. In autism, hypervigilance to social and environmental cues is a survival adaptation, years of learning to read every room, every face, every tonal shift. In ADHD, the hypervigilance often manifests as rejection sensitive dysphoria, a hair trigger alertness to any signal of criticism, failure, or exclusion that consumes enormous attentional bandwidth. The cognitive cost of this constant background processing is enormous. By mid afternoon, many people in this community are not tired from what they did. They are exhausted from what their nervous system was doing while they were doing it. If this series is opening up something important for you, if you are recognizing yourself in these signs for the first time, please subscribe and hit the bell. There are thousands of people in this community who need to hear exactly what you are hearing right now. And sharing this video may be the most important thing you can do for someone you love today. Sign number 9: central auditory processing differences. You can hear perfectly. The audiologist says so, and yet, in a noisy room, in a group conversation, when two people speak at once, you simply cannot follow. This is central auditory processing disorder, or CAPD, and it is significantly more common in both autistic individuals and in people with fibromyalgia than in the general population. Research also shows elevated rates in ADHD, where auditory attention, the ability to sustain focus on a single voice stream in a complex environment, is directly compromised by the same dopamine dysregulation that affects every other attention domain. The problem is not in your ears, it is in the speed and accuracy with which your central nervous system decodes auditory information under load. The exhaustion of asking people to repeat themselves, of nodding along when you have just lost the thread, of avoiding conversations you used to enjoy. That is a real neurological cost, not a social preference. Sign number 10: cognitive hypersensitivity. Remember the volume knob analogy, where the entire pain system is cranked all the way up? The same principle applies to cognitive input. Cognitive hypersensitivity means that thinking itself, under certain conditions, becomes physically aversive. Too many decisions in a row, too much novel information too quickly, a task that requires sustained concentration in an imperfect environment. These are not things that should hurt, but in a sensitized nervous system, they genuinely do. This is not a metaphor. Neuroimaging research shows increased metabolic activity in pain processing regions during cognitively demanding tasks in fibromyalgia patients. In autism and ADHD, cognitive overload triggers a physiological stress response: elevated cortisol, increased heart rate, sympathetic activation. Your brain is working harder and paying more than anyone around you can see. Sign number 11: interoceptive confusion. Interoception is your body's internal sensory system, the one that tells you when you are hungry, thirsty, tired, in pain, or emotionally overwhelmed. In autism, interoception differences are increasingly recognized as a foundational feature. Not knowing when you are hungry until you are suddenly incapacitated by it, not sensing fatigue until you collapse, and not identifying emotional states until they have become physical symptoms. In ADHD, interoceptive awareness is similarly compromised. The same attentional inconsistency that affects external focus also affects internal body awareness, making it genuinely difficult to read your own physiological state in real time. In fibromyalgia, the same system is dysregulated by central sensitization, either amplifying signals beyond their actual intensity or suppressing them until they break through as a crisis. The result is a body that sends confusing messages and a person who has learned, not irrationally, not to trust what they feel. So, what does all of this mean? It means this. If you have fibromyalgia, and especially if you have fibromyalgia alongside autism, ADHD, or ADHD, your cognitive symptoms are not separate from your physical symptoms. They are expressions of the same underlying nervous system dysregulation, and that means treating one without addressing the other will always leave you only partially better. Understanding the why is the first step. The next step is taking action. Three things you can do right now. First, start a cognitive load journal. Track what time of your day your brain works best, what environments degrade your function fastest, and what recovery conditions restore it. This is not a productivity exercise, it is data collection about your specific nervous system. Second, talk to your physician about sleep architecture. Alpha wave intrusion is measurable, it is treatable, and improving deep sleep quality is one of the most evidence supported interventions for cognitive symptoms in fibromyalgia. This includes recognition of restless leg and periodic limb movement disorder, as well as sleep apnea, which has often gone hidden for years without recognition and support. Third, if you have not yet been evaluated for ADHD or being autistic, and these 11 signs resonate, bring your conversation to your doctor. A formal evaluation is not a label in a sense, it is a map, and a map is what makes the rest of the journey navigable. You are not losing your mind. You are not making this up. What you are experiencing is a real, physiological, measurable phenomenon, and science is getting better and better at understanding it. In part three, our final episode in this series, we are going inside the emotional and identity dimensions of this overlap. Masking, burnout, the grief of a late diagnosis, and what recovery actually looks like when you finally have the right map. Share your story in the comments. Which of these 11 signs hit closest to home? Let's make this comment section a resource for the person who finds this video at 2 a.m. and finally feels less alone. You are not alone. Thanks for watching.